Good evening, everybody. Good to see you. I just have a couple of updates, and then, of course, I'm available if you have any questions for things that I cover or don't cover. So as Deb mentioned, we did piloting today, which, Sean, I think you were talking a little bit about snowpack when we got on. So delighted that we got some snow up high during this last storm. Even though we may not gotten some in Estes or as much as we'd like, we did get some good snowpack up higher elevation. So we will all take it. Conditions were pretty darn good for skiing, and we had that for a while. So we can all celebrate that. But we did pile burning Upper Bear Lake Road corridor. We've got a number of piles. You guys will recall we sent out a news release in early January, just letting folks know that we will be doing those pile burning when conditions allow, and really greatly continue to really appreciate the support of Visit Park and other stakeholders and community members, because we really know that that did make a difference when it came to fighting the most recent fires, the East Troublesome Fire. You guys have heard us talk about that catcher's mitt being really, really important. And so thanks for your support. It also helped us with the Fern Lake Fire, doing that mitigation work. And we'll continue to talk with you, about that as the months come up. So, and we'll continue to let you guys know when we're doing it as well. So, that you kind of get a heads up in the morning. We also push it out on social media just so people can, like you said, Deb, know that it's planned. It's a planned event. Okay. So a couple of other things. I think the last time we met in January, we talked a little bit about our visitation stats. In November, we're up 28%. Our visitation in December was up 38%. So this is kind of after the timed entry was completed in October for last year. We do not have our January numbers yet, but it did seem like we had high visitation in January, particularly on weekends. We had to restrict vehicle access a number of weekends in January, and we're continuing to see some impacts of overflow parking in areas that we actually have signed not to park. So Storm Pass Trailhead near the Bierstadt Trailhead. So we're continuing to try to figure out ways to tackle that. Also being really mindful that we're continuing to watch the trends of just increased visitation and what that might look like for this season in Rocky. So I just want to continue to let you all know as soon as we know what our plans are for this season. When it comes to reservations, we'll let you know. I think we were asked by some media whether we were planning on having reservations this year, and we said we do not plan to implement the same type of timed entry permit system. And there were some headlines that said no reservations in Rocky this summer. That's inaccurate. We're going to be having something. We just don't know what that looks like yet. And so we'll continue to keep you all posted. But with a 38% increase in December, and I think you guys have heard me say that our public land partners last summer saw a 200 to 300% increase in their visitation. As we continue to be mindful of COVID and public health, those are all things that we are sorting through right now. And I wish I had all the answers to give you right now. I don't, but I just want to let you know we're continuing to work on that. Along those same lines, you all should have received a copy of the news release we distributed last week on the mask requirement in national parks. And so masks are required in all facilities in Rocky Mountain National Park. And also in outside areas that you cannot keep a 6-foot distance and social distancing. And so those would be places that you kind of expect. Busy parking lots, the plaza area, for instance, at Beaver Mountain Visitor Center, maybe narrow, crowded trails like Sprague Lake, Lily Lake, Bear Lake. Again, when you feel like you are not socially distancing. So that's another thing that we are implementing as well. And, again, I want to just really highlight that last summer, my office is at the Beaver Meadows Visitor Center right now. It's not, because we're having the HVAC system repaired, but, the vast majority, I'd say like 98% of park visitors had masks on in the plaza area, obviously in our buildings, in the vault toilets. I think most park visitors are definitely wanting to, not only be focused on their behavior of wearing masks, but being conscientious of others around them too. So we don't see this being, a big concern, but just continuing to really emphasize what's required when you visit national parks now. So that was just last week that was put in place. And so you all should have received the news release on that. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but that is what we have. That's what I have for my updates now. You might also have gotten the release about Raptor Closures. We sent that out last week, and that's pretty exciting. We had a really successful raptor nesting last year in Rocky Mountain National Park. And so we started that a few weeks early, and then we will be very, very mindful of reopening those areas. They'll be heavily monitored as we continue to see what kind of nesting takes place. So we'll lift those closures when and if appropriate. So I think that's it for me. What questions do you have for me?
I have a question.
Okay.
I am one of those people that apparently has been perpetrating information that may not be totally correct. I think I saw a travel and leisure article on the entry system ticketing and, entry system we used last year, that it was going to be discontinued in 2021. And I'm fairly sure I posted that on my Facebook page. So are you saying that there might be some iteration of that where people will have to sign up for passes ahead of time?
Yeah, so Deb, again, we're looking at what our level of visitation is and what our public health guidance is. So it won't look like what last year's was. Last year was specific to COVID, and it was 60% of our visitation from 2019. Mm-hmm. We continue to sort through what COVID guidelines are this spring and what our level of visitation is. We'll continue to have to take steps to look to see what that looks like. So what we're saying, and I'm happy to send you guys the statement too if it helps, and what we sent to the Denver Post is, at this time, we do not plan to implement the same type of timed entry permit system as was used in 2020, but we'll continue restrictions when necessary and may implement other pilot visitor management techniques if congestion and crowding warrants.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to. I would love that directly from, your statement directly, because I do have other pieces that are going to go out. So I just want to make sure we're communicating correct information.
Awesome. After this, after my report, I'm happy to email you all that statement.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And again, I'm not trying to be coy or not transparent. We truly are trying to sort through this, and we're looking at what some of our visitation has been this winter with weekends, and what we're hearing from our other public land agencies. Yosemite just started with a day use timed entry permit system there because of public health issues in California right now. So we're all trying to sort through and, eager for the vaccinations, eager for there not to be increases in COVID. So again, just really appreciate everybody being as flexible and light on their feet as can be.
Thank you so much. Any other questions for Kyle?
But of course, Kyle, maybe I have failed to pay attention appropriately to all your good work, but are there any parts of the park that are still not available for public use based on our challenges of last October?
Yes, Scott, there are a number of places that are closed. And after this, I'm happy to send you the link. We've got a page on our website that actually has a most current map of the openings and closings. So just real quickly, the areas on the east side that you probably would be most interested in is the Moraine Park Road is open to vehicles, but the Cub Lake Trail is closed, and the Fern Lake Trail from the winter turnaround. So that kind of the Fern Lake Road.
Right.
Is still closed. Our infrastructure in that area and in the Mill Creek Basin area suffered some damage as a result of the fire. So some bridges, et cetera, are out. So until we can get in this spring and work on those areas, those trails are closed. So that's the main area probably you all are most interested in. You know, we were able to reopen Bierstadt in December because the damage wasn't on the Bierstadt Lake Trail system. It was only when you drop down into the Mill Creek Mill Creek Basin. The North Fork area, so over by the retreat in Glen Haven, that area is still closed. Those trails are still closed. So as far as the east side of the park, Scott, I think those are probably the areas that you're most interested in. On the west side of this park, there's quite a few closures for trail system on the west side. The road is open to the Colorado River Trailhead on the west side, but like the Green Mountain Trail and those areas are still closed on the west side. Does that help, Scott?
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Marine Park Campground, of course, reopened a while back too. So we don't see a lot of winter use there, but we do see some. So we're excited to get that area back open. Oh, sorry. One other place on the east side is Beaver Mountain. So you can walk Upper Beaver Meadows Road all the way to the end, and you can walk over to Marine Park Campground, just not up Beaver Mountain as if you were kind of trying to connect with the Ute Trail. I see another question.
I think you're muted.
Okay. Yeah, and I couldn't find it. One question you said, and I just missed because I was getting all excited about January and I forgot to write it down. You said visitation was up in December. What was that number? Was it 30%? You said?
Yeah. So our visitation was up 38% in December, and that's
is that from last December, or is that from?
Yeah, that's the December before. So remember, 2019 was record visitation for us, and December of 2020 was up 38% over December of 2019, which was a record month.
Wow.
So hence why you can kind of feel us going, okay, it's going to be continuing. And just, 25% increase in July is 300,000 more people. So that's what we're kind of thinking through.
Oh, thanks, Kyle.
Okay, you bet. Thank you. And Marie, we don't have the January numbers yet, but as soon as we do, we'll pass those on.
Thank you.